Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Today is Sunday the 14th of December and it's in London, it's 3:45 in the morning. My name's Ativia Debri and I'm broadcasting to you live. I wanted to continue with the Bible study that we've been doing together. If you've been tuning in since I started, just reading Genesis. And today I just wanted to do, it's quite early for me today, to be honest with you. So I hope this time does meet you well. I just wanted to I just wanted to continue from chapter 10 of Genesis, where I stopped last time around. But just before that, I just want to just do an overview or just highlight something that I didn't last time in Genesis chapter 9. And it's to do particularly with the curse that Noah put on his grandson, Canaan. What happened there was that Noah got drunk and he slept naked. And I presume at that time and at any time you don't want to be seeing your parents naked now, do you? And Ham, his son, walked in on him and saw his father naked, called his other brothers, Japheth and Shem, I believe his name is, and said, hey, look, Dad's in there, he's naked, you know. I said, oh, really? So they now got a cloth, walked backwards, they didn't look at him, and covered him. His nakedness, his shame, basically. And when Noah awoke, he found out what happened and that Ham had seen him naked, and he decided to curse Ham's son, Canaan. And this is what he said, chapter 9. This is what Ham said to his son. Oh, that camera's not on, is it? Let's get that sorted out. Whoopsie daisy. Let's just get this camera working again. Oh, it would help if I switched it on. That always does help. Oh boy, oh there we go. These major glitches do happen. We want chapter 9, don't we? Right, this is what Noah said to his grandson. Chapter 9, verse 25. He said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers. He also said, blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. All the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Right. So, what I want to emphasize here is one major thing. Drink, but don't get drunk. And if you do get drunk, you are now under the influence of alcohol. When you're under the influence of alcohol, that's an avenue for Satan to get you, to manipulate you. It is. Okay? I'm not saying case Noah, I cannot judge Noah. All I can do is learn from Noah, which I would say is a mistake in cursing Ham. In cursing Canaan, Ham's son. It's not Ham's fault that you got drunk. It's not Ham's fault that you were naked, sleeping. Ham just happened to walk in on you like that. Okay? He saw the error of his ways, called his brothers, and they done the decent thing. Okay, so we should be careful of the things we say, the things that come out from our mouths, especially when it relates to our children and our grandchildren. You see, because we don't know where these curses can go or how they can end up. It's always good to have positive thoughts, even if the scenario is bad. Because we are told in the Bible, don't let any bad word come out of your mouth about people or about an individual. Talk less of your own grandson. Oh, okay, so 2 learning points here. First thing, do not get drunk. You open up avenues to Satan. And if you do get drunk, be in a place where you're safe, in your own house. You know, where you're not in a scenario where you're going to run your mouth or be influenced and do things that you regret the day after. Okay? Alcohol is a drug. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't have alcohol. It just means that you should have it in moderation, where you control of your mind. Okay? And 2, be mindful of the words that come out of your mouth, especially when you're referring to your children or your grandchildren. These curses, we don't know how they end up. We don't know what they can do. And just ensure that whatever comes out of your mouth is good and pure. Other than that, stay silent. Okay? Let the others do the cursing and the abuse. Don't join them. This is what makes Satan very happy. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of emphasize that and just, get us thinking positively so we don't get ourselves mixed up or under the influence of Satan. Because I had a situation, because the Lord has told us to be sober, and I had a situation recently, just a week gone, just last week gone, on Thursday, and I was really happy. I was elated, and in my happiness, I was walking down the road and I fell down, and I hurt my knees, and I was like, oh my gosh, I even destroyed my phone. And I thought, how did that happen? So it's because of my elation and my happiness, I wasn't focusing, I wasn't concentrating on where I was going. And I'm assuming because I shouldn't have slipped, my shoes were good, everything was fine, the place wasn't slippery. In that elation, and I fell down. Luckily I fell on my knees and on my hands. Didn't injure myself, didn't break a collarbone. It could have been much, much, much worse. So I was happy that one, it wasn't a bad fall. It wasn't a good fall, but it wasn't a bad one. I didn't obtain some injury that I had to go to the hospital with, and I was able to go where I was going. But I destroyed my phone and I injured myself and I drew blood. So that's just, I thought I'd share that with you. And in tandem with Noah's cursing. Because as I said, it wasn't Ham's fault that he was naked. It wasn't Ham's fault that he got drunk. It was Noah's fault. And he should have taken responsibility for his actions. And if Ham had broken was disrespectful or had broken a tradition of not seeing your parent naked, or if Noah felt he had been humiliated, he should have forgiven his son rather than curse his grandson. Okay, that's just my view. I believe that there's things that we can learn when you read the Bible from the mistakes of others, In my view, this is a mistake by Noah, and for me it's a learning point. Okay, because how many people were in the world at that time? You know, a handful basically. So what is there to be angry about, to be totally honest? You know, it's only just a bunch of you. And this is also comes to the point where I don't think it's in here, but I've mentioned the Apocrypha, and it sort of talks some more about Noah and his sons. And we're told that one of the sons built a city and named it after his wife, and his brother got jealous of what he had done. So his brother now built his own city, and what did he do? He named it after his wife. And I was saying to myself, but why would you get jealous of your brother? Because, I mean, how many of you were there in the whole world? As I said, just a handful. So why did you get jealous of your brother if he built a house and named it after his wife? You know, sometimes these things are kind of difficult for me to understand. And then, so I kind of like drew a correlation, and I kind of extrapolated from that experience and from that event. I said to myself, well, think about this for a minute. If there's only a handful of you in the whole world and you're all related, and your brother does something as building a city, I mean, how many people will be in that city? He built it and he named it after his wife. And now then you get jealous and you build your own and you name it after your wife. That's what I said, well, if those are siblings and that's just them in the world, what about now? You know, where you think you've done literally nothing and there's somebody, they're just jealous of you. You see, so it kind of brings it into perspective. It kind of brings it into perspective in respect of the world that we live in, and how evil and how negativity has penetrated it at every level. Okay? Because we're most likely not dealing with people that we're related to. And then we're dealing with people that we are related to. But just because of a little thing that you might be doing and that you're happy about, you've got people jealous of you. And you probably worked hard for everything that you've got. So it's very, I just found it as an acknowledgement of the negativity that we're surrounded by on earth, the darkness, that even after the Lord had cleared out the world as it existed then, and he made a covenant with Noah and said, Lord, I will never do this again. But still Noah and his children were jealous of themselves, and they were all that was in the world. And we come from them. You see? So it's like, well, does this never stop? No. That's why the word of the Lord is important. That's why we have to move out of the darkness and into the light. That's why we need and we want to bask in the glory of God, not in darkness, but in light. It's very important that we can remove these shackles that we're burdened with, that Satan has sort of influenced us with, right from the beginning. Okay, so this is where we want to go. This is where we want to move to. We want to get out of the darkness and move into the light. We want to knock on that door, and the Lord would open that door to us. We are made in the Lord's image. The Lord created us in his image. Okay, he loves us. Things are the way they are because they are the way that they are. Okay, but the Lord is our creator and he loves us, and there's an avenue for us to move out of Satan's influence and into the light of the Lord. And the first thing you want to do is to attain wisdom. And how do you attain wisdom? By obeying the Lord's commandments. That will give you the knowledge of good and evil, and to know the difference between good and evil. And you can now from there go down the right path. That is wisdom, knowing the difference between good and evil, and you get there by obeying the Lord's commandments. Because we're told, when Jesus was asked, what is the most important commandment? The Lord said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy mind, and all thy soul. And the second commandment is like the first, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And do you know who your neighbor is? Not the person that lives next door to you. Not the person that lives down the road from you. Not the person that you work with. Not your brother or your sister through your blood ties. Your neighbor is your brother in Christ, a fellow believer, a fellow individual that obeys the Lord's commandments and is in the light. That is your neighbor. You love your neighbor as you love yourself. Very important. Let's not get it all mixed up. Okay, so make a decision. I don't like New Year's resolutions because we never keep them. Okay, make a decision and say to yourself, I want to move out of the darkness and into the light, and start obeying the Lord's commandments, every single one of them. It's easy. Don't believe when you're told that you've got to go to deliverance services and sleep all night in the church, or sleep in the church over the weekend, or engage in powerful prayers with a group of people where you're all praying together and calling on the name of the Lord. No. This is an individual journey for you to take. Okay, you don't need guidance from any pastor, any reverend father. You don't need to go and confess to anybody. You confess to God. You pray to God. You establish a direct relationship with the Lord, your creator. You don't need to go through any other man. This is the point that I want to make very, very clear to you. You don't need to go to any man, through any person. Pray directly to the Lord and ask the Lord to come into your life. And as I've said, it's most important, you need to obtain wisdom. And the way that you obtain wisdom is by obeying the Lord's commandments. And then you will know the difference between good and evil, and that is knowledge. And you see your life change. Your eyes will start to open. And Satan will want to get you back, but he can't, because you'll be under the Lord's protection. Okay? So I just thought I'd share that with you before we started. And because this is the main objective of my ministry. Okay, I just want to get people into the light of the Lord. I want to get people to bask in the light of the Lord. I don't want you to waste your time overthinking issues, being spoken down to by other people, thinking that your sins are too great that the Lord will never forgive you, thinking that there's no room in the house of the Lord for you. Stop being deceived. Start to make a decision in your own life right now. Okay? So let's proceed along that path. Right, I just want to continue with chapter 10 of Genesis, and we're probably going to go read through 10, 11, 12, see how it goes, and just have a general discussion. Okay, so let's go to, I'm going to bring up the Bible on the screen, my own copy that I'm using to read these verses to you. Feel free to grab your own Bible or just follow along. Forgive me if I trip up every now and again. These things happen. Right, chapter 10. I'm reading from the English Standard Version. I disclose to you that the Bible that I use is the King James Version. That's my main Bible. But I don't like reading that out loud, and I want people to understand what I'm saying. I believe the English Standard Version is a good interpretation. And if there's anything that one gets mixed up with, well, I can always refer to the King James Version as well. But it's a good version, and it's a version of English that everybody can understand. So let's proceed. These are the generations of the sons. Let me get this straight for you guys. That's it. These are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem and Ham, and Japheth. Sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Mesh, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Repath, Togma. The sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. From these the coastlands people spread in their lands, each with his own language, by their clans in their nations. They've got a map here actually, showing where all these people where the sons of Noah, Shem, Japheth, and Ham, how they distributed themselves all over the world. And there's a key and there's a map, and it's quite easy to see. I did do some work on this just to find out where where the people the later generations, Africans, Europeans, East Asians, Southeast Asians, where they kind of derive from. That's kind of like one of the major topics of the day. Who's the son of Shem? Because we know the descendants of Shem are Abraham and the 12 tribes. And who are the descendants of Japheth? And who are the descendants of Ham? Funny, nobody talks about, oh no, my fault. The descendants of Noah are those three guys, isn't it? So yeah, so there's a great debate on the internet, blogs, everybody claiming descent from the 12 tribes, and we know that 10 were lost. Then you have the Jews and Judah, or is it Judah and Benjamin? So yeah, there's a great debate about that, which I have looked and read on, and I thought, okay, fair enough. But we do know one thing for certain, is that God's chosen people derive from Shem. That's what we do know. So let's continue. The sons of Ham, Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabath, Ramah, and Saptika. The sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. Cush fathered Nimrod. He was the first on earth to be a mighty man. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, Calneh, and the land of Shinar. From that land he went into Assyria and built Nineveh, Reboth, Calah, and Rezin. Between Nineveh and Calah, that is the great city, Egypt fathered Ludim, Anamim, Libamim, Naputalim, Pashrushim, Kashlushim, from whom the Philistines came, and Capthorim. Canaan fathered Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusites and the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Havites, the Archites, and the Sinites, the Ardavites, the Zemarites, and the Canaanites extended from Sidon in the direction of Gerar as far as Gaza, and in the direction of Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zebolim, as far as Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, by their clans, their languages, their lands, and their nations. To Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the elder brother of Japheth, children were born. The sons of Shem, Elam, Ashar, Aprashad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram, Uz, Hal, Gether, and Mash. To Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Joktan fathered Almodad, Shelep, Hazrameth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Dikla, Obal, Abimel, Sheba, Oper, Havilah, Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. The territory in which they lived extended from Misha in the direction of Sepah to the hill country of the east. These are the sons of Shem by their clans, their languages, their lands, and their nations. These are the clans of the sons of Noah according to the genealogies in their nations, and from these the nations spread abroad on the earth after the flood. Now the whole earth had one language and the same words, and as people migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower, with its top in the heaven, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth." And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of man had built. And the Lord said, "Behold, they are one people and they have one language. And this is only the beginning of what they will do. And nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, so that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord dispersed them from there over the face of all the earth, and they left off building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord dispersed them over the face of all the earth. Shem's descendants. Let me just say something here. It's really because when you read the Apocrypha, it does go, as I said before, into a little bit more depth and into a little bit more detail, probably the better word than depth. And they say that when man started building the Tower of Babel, the closer they got to the sky, they started shooting arrows, saying, let's kill, let's shoot what's up there. You know, when I read that, I thought to myself, seriously? Yes, that's what they were doing. Probably not much different from man now, who claims to shoot rockets into the sky that go to the moon and send spaceships to Venus. I think the Russians have landed on Venus. There's video about a spacecraft going through into the atmosphere of Venus. I think there's even currently a lunar rover on Mars. So, you know, man has achieved quite a lot. Even though we don't all speak the same language. I'm being tongue-in-cheek here. I don't necessarily believe in all these space travels and space landings, but that's what we were taught in school. That's what we've been brought up to believe. But from my understanding of creation and the way the world is, I think there's a little bit more that needs to be said about those stories. And also these, when we talk about the descendants, they do mention the term Akanaz and Akanazi or Akanzi, something like that. And they say they're descended from Japheth. Right, so let's continue. This is becoming very interesting. Shem's descendants. These are the generations of Shem. When Shem was 100 years old, he fathered Arpachshad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived, after he fathered Arpachshad, 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arpachshad had lived 35 years, he fathered Shelah. And Arpachshad lived, after he fathered Shelah, for 403 years, and he had sons and daughters. Where Shelah looks, I'm so sorry, this has to be straight, yes? When Arpachshad had lived 35 years, he fathered Shelah, and Arpachshad lived, after he fathered Shelah, 403 years, and had other sons and daughters. When Shelah lived 30 years, he fathered Eber, and Shelah lived, after he fathered Eber, 403 years, and had other sons and daughters. When Eber had lived 34 years, he fathered Peleg, and Eber lived, after he fathered Peleg, 430 years, and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg had lived 30 years, he fathered Reu, and Peleg lived, after he fathered Reu, 209 years, and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he fathered Sherug, and Reu lived, after he fathered Sherug, for 207 years, and had other sons and daughters. When Sherug had lived 30 years, he fathered Nahor, and Sherug lived, after he fathered Nahor, 200 years, and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor had lived 29 years, he fathered Terah, and Nahor lived, after he fathered Terah, 119 years, and had other sons and daughters. When Terah had lived 70 years, he fathered Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Right, what's of interest here is how long these individuals were living for. We went from Noah, 500 plus years, to the likes of Nahor to being 119 years. So it's kind of going down. You know, the lifespan is kind of going down. I think Abraham lived for almost 900 years, or just, oh, I said Abraham, bear with me. Adam lived for, I think, 903 years. Okay, Terah's descendants. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah fathered Abraham, Nahor, and Haran fathered Lot. Haran died in the presence of his father Terah in the land of his kindred, in Ur of the Chaldeans. And Abraham and Nahor took wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, and the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Iscah. Now Sarai was barren, she had no child. Terah took Abraham, his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his grandson, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son, Abraham's wife, and they went forth together from Ur of the Chaldeans to go into the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. The days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Chapter 12. The Lord said to Abraham, "Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house into the land that I will show you, and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. To those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse. In you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." This is a very interesting statement. So the Lord has said to Abraham, let's just go back here. I will bless those who bless you, and I will dishonor you, and him who dishonors you rather, I will curse. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. So I would interpret that to say, the families of the earth will be blessed, all of them, if they bless you. And those that who dishonor you will be cursed. One thing that I used to think about was how do you know the difference between good and evil? Because there could be a situation where one could think that they are blessed, when in actual fact you're actually cursed. Do you see what I mean? Because one man's blessing can be another man's curse. You could have been confused that you are blessed, whereas you are actually cursed. Because the Lord did say, blessed are those who bless you, and those who dishonor you, the Lord will curse. And through you, all the families of the earth shall be blessed, meaning they will all have to bless you in order for them to be blessed. So it's very important, kind of, to know who Abraham's descendants are. And do you think, based on what the Lord has said, that they have been blessed by the other people of the world so that everybody can be blessed? Do you feel blessed right now? Yeah, no, it's worth thinking about, isn't it? Right. So Abraham went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abraham was 75 years old when he departed from Haran, and Abraham took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered. And the people that they had acquired in Haran, and they set out to go to the land of Canaan. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abraham passed through the land to the place of Shechem, to the oak of Moreh. At that time the Canaanites were in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abraham. Remember, we are told that the Canaanites are descendants of who? Ham. Then the Lord appeared to Abraham and said, to your offspring I will give this land. So he built there an altar to the Lord who had appeared to him, from where he moved to the land, to the hill country on the east of Bethel. And pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to the Lord and called upon the name of the Lord. And Abraham journeyed on, still going towards Negev. Let's just check if the Canaanites are actually descended from Ham, because I really don't want to make a mistake. Let's just follow what we're told here. Right, let's get you straight there, son. So we've got green, descendants of Ham. There we go. So where are they? And here we have Canaan. Okay. So we've got descendants of Shem are in sort of like, there we go. Descendants of Shem here, they're in blue. So we've got Aprashad, which you mentioned. Havilah, Uzal, Hazamah, Elam, Mash. Yeah, descendants of Shem, of Ham rather, they're all around Put, about Egypt, Cush, in Africa, Dedan. So we can see that there's kind of a mix with the descendants of Shem and the descendants of Ham. And the descendants of Japheth, they tended to go more north. Melesh, Magog, Gomer, Ashkenaz. Oh, let me bring this down for you here. This would be like present day. This is Turkey, present day Turkey. So this would be like the Caucasus. Yeah. And this is... I wouldn't refer to this as the Middle East, because that's based on where London is located. This is West Asia, okay? And we see you've got the descendants of Ham mixed in with the descendants of Shem, okay? So one would assume that they had their various characteristics, and then you've got the descendants of Japheth all around in the Mediterranean Sea going into Europe. Yeah, so we can see that it's here. I'm not making it up. Okay, not making it up. So if you're kind of like mixed in with another group of descendants, you kind of have a kind of like a common heritage, right? You kind of like, you may have things in common, isn't it? But the Lord decided to choose Abraham, who descended from Shem. And he moved them into Canaan and said, you're going to occupy this land where the descendants of Ham currently lived. Okay, so we've gotten that bit out of the way. And let's continue. Right, now, verse 10, chapter 12. Now there was a famine in the land, so Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there. For the famine was severe in the land. When he was about to enter Egypt, he said to Sarai, his wife, and I am aware that I've pronounced some of these names incorrectly. My bad. I have not rehearsed these chapters that I'm reading to you now. If I had done, I would have rehearsed the names and gotten them right. So I do apologize in that respect, and that's my fault. So forgive me. I know that you are a woman beautiful in appearance, and when the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Then they will kill me. But they will let you live. Say you are my sister, that it may go well with me because of you, and that my life may be spared for your sake. When Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman was very beautiful, and when the princes of Pharaoh saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, and for her sake he dealt well with Abram, and he had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male servants, female donkeys, and camels. Wow! Just because his wife was beautiful, or his sister. See the power of a woman? She was a beautiful woman, but I would really be interested to see how beautiful she really was. You know? Very important here. I think this is another learning point that, yes, you might be overtaken by someone's beauty. But because Pharaoh was overcome by that, he himself was deceived. And Abraham knew in advance that he's got a beautiful wife. He knows what these people are like when they see a beautiful woman. So listen, they're going to kill me because you're beautiful. Let's do it like this. So always good to understand where you live and where you're going. Know their culture, know how they live, know how they behave. Before you get there, Abraham did, and it saved his life. Okay? It's always good to know, one, where you live and what the rules and regulations are, written and unwritten. And two, to be aware of your surroundings. And three, don't assume. Don't assume what you're being told is the truth. Okay? It's just, just little things that I just picked up. Just by reading this. Right. But the Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abraham's wife. So Pharaoh called Abraham and said, "What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her for my wife? Now then, here is your wife, take her and go." And Pharaoh gave men orders concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. So I'm going to stop here. And I think chapter 13 is a very nice place to stop. And we can continue next time around. So, hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It's funny how things just can come to one's mind when you're reading something, even though it's not for the first time. You find what you're looking for, isn't it, really? And it's really, because this is the first time actually that I've realized that the descendants of Shem and Ham were living in the same environment. It was the descendants of Japheth that moved away, because the Lord didn't say, when Abraham, why did he even go to Egypt? Was there like a famine or something? I've forgotten now. Why did he go to Egypt? Yeah, there was a famine, just like there was a famine in Joseph's time, so they went to Egypt. So obviously, one would assume that they could blend in with the people of Egypt when they went there. Presumably, I would assume that was the case between the descendants of Shem and the descendants of Japheth? No. Ham. So, you could go there and chill and go, "Oh, you got a pretty wife. Yeah, I think I like her. Come into my household." So, it's very interesting actually. I found it really interesting. A basis for good learning, it's good to know the foundation. And when you hear people arguing over this, that, and the third, you just come back and read it for yourself. And one, it's vain babblings, because it's cool, but does it really matter? We're in a different situation now, and the whole world just seems like they want to go to war about who knows what. So whoever descended from who, good luck. It's about keeping the Lord's commandments, obtaining wisdom, and basking in the glory and in the light of the Lord, not basking in darkness and negativity and hate and evil. When people start these great debates about who's descended from whom and who's this and who's that, they're missing the core argument. Is that what God do you worship? Are you worshipping the devil or are you worshipping God? That's what it boils down to. Okay, so we've got to get our focus. And I'd like to thank you for joining me today. It's been a fantastic day, fantastic evening. I didn't know it was going to turn out like this. It's been a culmination of a week for me. And I'm so happy that I've been able to do this stream despite all that has happened and despite all the events that come out today. I want to share the word of God with you. I want you to come into the light. I want you to bask in the glory of the Lord just as I am. I want you to enjoy what I have. I want you to open up your eyes. Stop being deceived. Stop being lied to. Stop believing in the flesh of this world. Stop being part of this world. and start to move over into the light of the Lord. I'd like to pray with you now, just before we end this stream. And I pray the Lord's Prayer as I was taught when I grew up. Various versions, but this is the version that I know. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I look forward to speaking to you in the very near future, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. This should work normally, but